Do you estimate the entire product backlog before starting the work on a project? Hello and welcome to pmclounge.com. This is Lounge Fever, a series of videos where we try to answer your questions. And the question that we are answering today is, do you need to basically estimate every single item in your product backlog before starting the project work? By the way, we have answered a lot of your questions in our Lounge Fever series. Uh, the first link in the description is going to take you to the entire playlist that contains all such videos where we have answered your questions related to Agile. Related to Agile, for your PMP preparation, every single concept that you need to know, check out the second link in the description. That is going to be very, very helpful. It contains all the agile concept videos that you need to know for your PMP exam. Third link is going to help you if you're preparing for your PMI-ACP. So three important links, do check them out. Let's move on. So I hope you get the question here, right? You have a product backlog that contains all your user stories, your features, bugs, items, whatever you want to call them. For the sake of simplicity, let's assume that this product backlog, not a sprint backlog, this product backlog has 9 features, F1 through F9. So these are all the features that are listed in your product backlog. Now, do you need to estimate the entire features, right? All the features listed here. Do you need to estimate the entire backlog before your work on the project begins? Not necessary, right? It is possible that you just take, let's say, one or two, just estimate the first two or three features and you take them in your next sprint. The sprint backlog, that is, you put in your F1, F2, and F3 in your sprint backlog, and then you start doing your sprint releases. That is also possible. But let's say you want to have a release plan of sorts. What you want to do is to basically plan out the entire release of when you will be able to deliver all 9 features. When you want to do that, then it is required for you to estimate all 9 features and figure out how many sprints would be required to deliver all 9 features and how many releases thereon are required, right? So it is, if you're working in a waterfall environment, of course you don't have a backlog. What you have is let's say a requirement specification document that contains all the requirements. You estimate the entire features in that document, and then you come up with a schedule of the project, right? Similarly, if you want to have a schedule for the entire product backlog, when will you be delivering all 9 features to the customer? That is when you should be estimating the entire product backlog and then coming up with a release plan. So release plan, this is the release plan. When you estimated all the features, you realize that in release 1 we are going to be delivering a walking skeleton basically, and these are the 4 core features that we must deliver, F1 through F3. So it takes one sprint to deliver F1. In the second sprint, you'll be able to deliver F2 and F3, and in the third sprint, you'll be able to deliver F4. So you were able to come up with this plan of sorts doing release 1 because you estimated all the features, and that is how you came up with the plan for release 2 as well, and a plan for release 3 also. So you now have dates that you can communicate to the customer that in release 1, which is, let's say your sprints are 1 month long, so in 3 months we will do a release 1 that is going to contain all the major features, a walking skeleton basically. 2 months later, we are going to do a release 2, which is going to contain other higher priority features, F5, F6, and F7. And then finally, we will do one more release after a month, which will contain F8 and F9. Now, it is possible that when you're delivering release 2, right, you are right now working on release 2, you've already delivered release 1, and that is when some items get added in your product backlog. So perhaps you now need more sprints, and that's how your release 3 plan can basically be changed. It is also possible that the customer realizes that F8 and F9 are very low priority features and we don't necessarily need to do another release just to deliver these two features. We might look into them later on, right? But to present this plan to the customer, right? To present this plan to the customer, that when you are going to deliver all the features that the customer has given to you, all the user stories that the customer has communicated to you, you need to estimate the entire product backlog. So I hope you understand the importance and the need to estimate the entire product backlog. Now, if you want to work on sprint by sprint, your customer does not need you to give a release plan as such. You can then work on sprint by sprint as well, and perhaps do sprint one, and sprint one also becomes your release one, where you are basically delivering just one feature. So if that is something that the customer is okay with, if that is something that the product owner is okay with, you can go ahead and do that. You don't have to estimate the entire product backlog. So there is a time and a need to estimate the entire product backlog for a project before you start working, as well as it is possible that based on the plan that you have, based on the customer need, and based on the stakeholders of your project, whatever they suggest and they agree on, you might not have to basically estimate all the items in your product backlog. Quick reminder, if you're looking for practice questions for your PMP exam, head over to pmclounge.com/PMP practice questions. Everything's free. So question for this video, what is the usual practice that your team follows? Do you have a release plan in place? Do you estimate the entire product backlog before starting the work on your project? Let me know in the comments, definitely looking forward to them. So that's all that we had in this video. I hope you got value out of it and were able to understand the situations in which the team might have to estimate the entire product backlog. Like, share, subscribe, check out the website pmclounge.com. And if you like our work, please consider contributing at pmclounge.com/contribute. Thank you.